Crisco. Thank you for joining us if you have chosen to watch. We are going to go through all 31 picks of the first round, hoping that we get a perfect 100% on draft night. We'll find out. I'm joined here by my Shaving Points podcast co-host, Jayden May. How you doing tonight, Jay?
Doing fantastic, brother. I'm so excited. Mock draft season, mock drafts all over the place. We're about to have the most perfect mock draft because we have the most perfect big board. And you can find our entire big board and the entire draft guide that Quentin has slaved over for hours and hours and months and days. All he's put his heart and soul into this thing, and you can find that on shaving-points.com. There's all sorts of features you can search for players. There's a drop down arrow and everything. So whenever draft night comes around, whenever maybe we're in the third or fourth round, you haven't heard of a guy, head over to shaving-points.com, check out who you just drafted. You can get a full breakdown of the player, be able to see some fun facts about him, some stats from his college, and then also see where he ranked on Quentin's big board and everything like that. So
Yep.
really cool tool, really fun. You can see his average ranks among some of the other prolific, I guess, draft analysts and stuff like that. So should be a good time. Make sure you go check it out. A lot of time and effort went into it, and really appreciate anybody supporting the cause. But outside of that, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure the Carolina Panthers are on the clock.
let's get it going. QR code for the draft guide right here. If you all would like to go check it out, we'll flash that a few more times throughout the show. But so, first things first, we got Carolina on the clock. Personally, I mean, I put money down yesterday on CJ Stroud just because I'm still in disbelief and I can't turn down that value. It's at plus like 400 right now. But what do you
Yeah,
think?
I mean, I think CJ Stroud's the pick. I think it's going to be Bryce Young though. So if we're going for accuracy, I say it's Bryce Young. If we're going for what, in my honest opinion, it should be, I'm saying Stroud. So
See, I'm actually in a spot where I'm thinking like I think Carolina is throwing a lot of smoke about Bryce Young right now, trying to get the Texans interested in moving up.
see, if that's the case, let's get wild with it. Let's go CJ Stroud number one then.
Okay, because I mean that's where CJ Stroud makes so much more sense for Frank Reich
To
to
me, he's the
me.
best quarterback in this draft. We've talked
Yeah,
about it over and over again.
yeah. I mean, you see right here, he's the number one QB on my board, but like
Yeah.
it's not like him and Bryce Young are that far apart. Like Bryce Young is somewhere a
I
little further down here, but
I think
yeah, he's
they're
right here. But
I think they're extremely similar. I give CJ Stroud the edge and size, mobility, strength, and I feel like he is a little bit more cerebral in his reads and stuff on the field. Uh, Bryce Young tested better on off the field tests where they try to
that's
simulate,
too.
but whenever like simulations compared to the film, I think Stroud looks better on film.
So I was listening to a podcast earlier today that said that Stroud actually took that test multiple times, and it's like they're very perplexed by it. Like everyone around the test is like they don't understand why because it just doesn't match the film, right? It
But
doesn't match what you see with CJ Stroud, but it has matched the last few years with like everybody.
yeah, and the thing is that nobody really knows where these results are coming from because the company that does it only does one team per division, and you don't really know which teams are getting the C2 test and which teams aren't getting the C2 test. And then it's really unclear on because the company that's performing the test is saying they're not publishing the results. So it's like it's just the deep state of the NFL trying to bury our boy CJ Stroud, I think.
Well, screw it. We're going CJ.
CJ Stroud number one. That completely changes who I was gonna suggest goes to the Texans though. So that That just changed everything that I thought was about to happen in this mock.
Yeah.
Because I
I
think
mean, I'm
Texans take
trying
Bryce
to.
Young.
Yeah, Texans. I mean, if Bryce Young is there, Texans are taking Bryce Young.
Yeah.
I think that's about as close to a lock as you can get. So we'll go
But
ahead and punch that one in.
let's say CJ Stroud doesn't go to Carolina. I know it's not really even a hot take anymore. Peter Schrager's been all over it. A couple other analysts have been all over it. But Tyree Wilson seems to be the pick for the Texans at 2 if Bryce Young goes 1 to Carolina. So that's definitely something to keep your eye on. I think he's the odds-on favorite now, actually,
And I
to
hope
go
not.
2.
I just put a few bets down on Will Anderson to be the first defender off the board,
Really?
just because I saw the value and I was like, "Well, yeah, if he's getting value, give me it."
Yeah. Okay, so this is 3 Arizona. So if it's quarterback, I think
This is where
this is
stuff
worst.
gets weird.
I think this is worst case scenario for Arizona. I think best case scenario for Arizona is that Bryce Young goes 1. The Texans take a defensive player, and there's still all the quarterbacks on the board outside of Bryce Young for Arizona. But in this scenario, I don't think they're going to find a trade partner, and we're not going to mock trades in this. So
Yeah,
I
we
would
can take a
say,
peek at what teams are offering. So we got
yeah,
Seattle. Well, we can't see what picks they're offering. We can see what teams are interested.
yeah.
Yeah,
But so with 2 quarterbacks already off the board, you have to think somebody's in love with Will Anderson, and then you look at the draft order, and it's like, or not Will Anderson, Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. But when you
yeah,
look at the draft order, it's like, why would we trade up? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So
yeah.
outside of a wild card, like the
Seattle Seahawks.
yeah, but I don't know. I think they're stuck here in this scenario. I think they have to just take Will Anderson here
Yeah, I think so too. I think
in this scenario.
they're getting them.
And so Indianapolis Colts up next. And it seems like a match made in heaven to me. I think this is Will Levis.
I think so. So
I don't think they go Anthony Richardson, and I don't think they can afford not to go quarterback here.
so I was going to say I think Richardson's a real possibility just because your your head coach is coming from the offensive coordinator position where Jalen Hurts was his quarterback.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only reason I like even consider it.
Uh, the only thing I would have to say to that is that the current players on the Indianapolis roster, I think, fit with Will Levis better than Anthony Richardson. You have a strong run game. You have a mediocre offensive line. You have a big body wide receiver that can go up and get the football. I think Will Levis fits their current offense better than that. But if you're drafting a quarterback, Jonathan Taylor is no longer really your future, so that's not really a big deal. And then Michael Pittman he's a true number 2. He needs a number 1 outside of him. So
Yeah.
if you're saying like we're gonna build, this isn't the team that this isn't the final product. I think it could be Anthony Richardson, but you never know. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's been so damn good. Maybe they do take Will Levis and try to make a run at it right now in a pretty weak division outside of Jacksonville Jaguars.
I could see that team making the playoffs this year with Anthony Richardson at quarterback
As constructed,
as constructed. If that
yeah,
run game just starts to get nuts in that division, like Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson ripping it up with
they very well
Pittman
could.
catching 50-50 balls downfield. I mean, I'm not a big Anthony Richardson guy, but like I can see it. I can see
Yeah,
that working.
I mean Anthony Richardson is electric. So I mean we're split here. So
I mean,
I'll let you make the call. This
I
is
don't
your
even know
mock.
if I'm
I'm just
split.
a guest
My
tonight.
my gut says Richardson, but like
See, my gut
the
says Levis.
Ballard is the only reason why I hesitate. But then I think about where Ballard came from. So he came from Kansas City and Chicago before that, right? He was in the
Yeah.
draft room when they took Rex Grossman in Chicago. He was in the room when they took Pat Mahomes out of Texas Tech. That's about the extent I know of his history with drafting quarterbacks.
But okay, so you look at these two quarterbacks and they're pretty similar in the fact that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are very comparable in a lot of ways. Will Levis and Anthony Richardson are pretty comparable in a lot of ways. Like
Yeah.
Richardson's obviously the more athletic of the two, but they both have monster arms. They can both run. They're both big body guys rather than Bryce Young is definitely on the small side. I would say Stroud is more on the average to smaller than
Yeah,
average
he's
size.
stereotypical, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like height wise, he might be slight, but
Yeah, I mean he's not built like a Greek god like Justin Fields, but he's
well, who is?
but I think what Levis gets the nod here. And if you want to, this is your mock though. I'm the guest,
Yeah.
so if you want to put Richardson here, that's gonna.
I'm gonna put this one this way. Anthony Richardson is more popular in mocks to go to the Colts than Will Levis. So I'm gonna go with Richardson here. If it was the other way around, I'd go Levis.
All right, let's go Anthony Richardson here. So 3 quarterbacks in the first 4 picks.
Yes, sir. It's getting wild.
All right.
God, Anthony Richardson is so far down my board because this is a Chicago Bears board. It's like, so I don't need quarterback unless you're like really, really good. Why would I even consider it? So now let's see what we got. We got
Seattle. So we've been talking about it. I think this is a match made in heaven. I think this pick is Tyree Wilson.
Yeah. I think
he fits their defense perfectly. Jalen Carter's gonna be tough to pass up there, but I think Tyree Wilson fits what they're trying to do better. Maybe it's Will Levis here. I think Will Levis would be the last quarterback they would take out of the 4 if one of the 4 quarterbacks fell. I think he would be their last option. So I don't think it's quarterback here for him. It might be a trade for him, but if we're not doing trades, I think this pick is Tyree Wilson for the Seattle Seahawks.
Let's see who they got. Seattle Seahawks. Who they got a corner? They have that rookie from last year.
Who's really good.
But so they got Woolen, Jackson. Who's Jackson? Michael Jackson. Thriller.
Yeah, I mean they could go DB here, but you have a opportunity to shore up that defensive line. You have some young quarterbacks in that division. The division is winnable right now. I mean, the 49ers. It's really you and the 49ers right now. I don't see Cardinals really making a run at it next year. And who knows what's going on with the Rams? Like they won their Super Bowl and they're just still like, yeah, we may or may not be good. The Rams are a complete anomaly to me right now. I don't know what's going on with them, but I think you got to get the edge rusher. I think their offense is.
Let's take a look at John Schneider's history with defensive ends. So they got Boye Mafe last year.
Yeah, you're a little pixelated. So they had Daryl Taylor the same year. They got Jordan Brooks, Alton Robinson that draft.
Yeah, Jay Collier. So I'm just trying to think, like, are they going to go more prototypical? Like, would Will Anderson make more sense, or would Tyree Wilson based on what they've done in the past?
We already sent Will Anderson to the Cardinals.
Oh, you are right. You are very right.
He's not on the board.
So, yeah, the pick's Tyree Wilson. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. So, well, since
is he?
He's up there. I saw him a second ago. Maybe not. All right. Whose big board is this? Whose big board is this? Goodness gracious, PFF. Get it together.
So
the dude's the odds-on favorite to be the number 2 overall pick, and he's 28 behind Lucas Van Ness, who I don't hate, but like, come on now, what are we doing? All right, Detroit Lions. So as much as Tyree Wilson was the perfect fit, I think Detroit's sitting here, and Jalen Carter just fell in their lap after going defense last year. Their offense is very good right now. I don't think they even consider Will Levis at this spot with how good Jared Goff is playing right now. So they signed 3 defensive backs in the offseason, and they don't need a tackle. So I think the obvious like gift from the gods here is Jalen Carter.
Who were the cornerbacks they signed?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but they signed 3 of them. They signed
Mosley.
They signed a kid from Pittsburgh. They signed
CJ Gardner Johnson and Cameron Sutton. Yeah. So the other guy,
they got rid of Jeff Okudah.
Yeah, well, the other guy who's staring me in the face here is Christian Gonzalez or Devon Witherspoon, whichever you prefer. But
yeah,
I mean, this is Jalen Carter, I think.
Yeah, it's Jalen Carter.
That pains me so much to say, but
yeah,
that D line with Carter and Aiden Hutchinson is going to be disgusting.
And Aiden Hutchinson was so damn good last year. They will absolutely eat your kneecaps off. So I think 5 Detroit Lions get an absolute gift here. With whose pick was this? Is that the Rams pick?
Yeah.
No, fuck them picks.
Sir. So this one's interesting.
Raiders here. I think if Al Davis is still alive, this would be Will Levis all day.
Yeah, I can see that.
But so who is their quarterback?
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G. Okay. So one of the toughest divisions in football. Jimmy G's your quarterback. Maybe this is Will Levis.
I don't think McDaniels is going for Levis.
See, I don't think so either. So I would say this is Christian Gonzalez then.
Yeah.
I think if they don't go quarterback, I'd say Christian Gonzalez here.
Yeah, that's
just get a good DB. If they're not going quarterback here, I think this would be a pretty good trade opportunity for him too. But like I said, we're not doing trades, so
yeah,
we'll send them Christian Gonzalez. All right, Falcons on the board now. Will Levis?
If it was Anthony Richardson, I think they would.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know if they're going after. I mean,
who's their quarterback?
Desmond Ridder.
Oh, ooh. I think that would be Will Levis then. I mean, they spent a lot of money in the offseason. They shored up that defense. Tyler Algier played well for them last year. They have some offensive talent on the field. I think this pick screams Will Levis if he's sitting here at 8 for him.
See, I mean, I guess my question is, like, I don't know what Arthur Smith wants to run because they're going to be such a run-heavy offense, right? I think Richardson
Will Levis can run, though. Will Levis ran 4.7, 4.6?
Oh, no, but I think he wants a difference-making runner, personally.
Yeah.
Like, not a guy who can just, like, pick up some yards here and there. I think he might want a guy
So they trade the 8th pick for Lamar. And the Baltimore Ravens select Will Levis.
I could see that. I mean, that's where I'm just talking it out, though. I'm not sold on what I think Atlanta's going to do here. I just know there hasn't been much talk about Atlanta being that interested in a quarterback. You know, it's weird. Yeah, which could just be like they're covering their tracks, or it could be that they just don't like Will Levis.
Yeah, I mean, but I think with the board we have in front of us right now, if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you don't really need corner. Maybe need a tackle. This could be a Skoronski or Paris Johnson here,
Let's see. So they need
but
edge, corner,
a little bit of
D
everything.
line. Yeah.
So I think this has to be Will Levis in the draft that we're doing right now. But is you're not going running back here. I don't think you're going DB here. The top D linemen are off the board. Let's
see. So they had him in for a top 30 visit. Three reasons the Falcons obviously aren't interested in Will Levis.
Yeah. By blogging dirty.
Let's do it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
with the current draft, I mean,
it looks kind of like Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. If
he can run Arthur Smith's offense.
If the draft is following the way we're doing this right now, I don't think they make this pick. Like I said about
Will Levis wasn't even in my top 100. The Bears board. If the Bears drafted Will Levis, I would be livid.
Well, we don't have to worry about talking about any more quarterbacks now because I don't think we're sending Hendon Hooker anywhere.
Yeah. Well, see, so that was what I was thinking though. If I'm Tennessee, I might be thinking I can land Hooker in
Tennessee or Atlanta.
What? Oh yeah, Atlanta. Sorry.
You did bring up Ryan Tannehill a second ago. I was just like
Arthur Smith, the head coach, was Ryan Tannehill's OC in Tennessee. I got my wires crossed after that.
I thought you were just like they're in the South, like Ryan Tannehill's like the. But all right, so Will Levis lands on the Falcons. So we get to these Chicago Bears here, and to me, this is Paris Johnson. You could say maybe Skoronski, maybe Jackson Smith, and Jigba.
Skoronski, I don't think.
If
the Bears showed,
we're going Paris Johnson.
Yeah, the Bears showed last year that they care a lot about arm length at tackle and the guys they drafted, and Skoronski just doesn't fit it unless you're putting him at guard, and they already have a backlog at guard. So,
yeah,
I think Paris Johnson is the pick here, if with no trades. Like I think
unless Justin Fields trades down. If Justin Fields
JSN, maybe.
Yeah, if Justin Fields has the year of the GM, maybe it's JSN, but I think it's Paris Johnson here, and I think it's a hell of a pick.
Yeah, I'm with you. What I think they're going to try to do is they're going to try to trade down with Tennessee if a quarterback's there. If a quarterback's not there, they might not be able to trade down. But if there is a quarterback there, I think they're going to try to trade down with Tennessee and target what's his name? Darnell Wright out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because he plays right tackle. The Bears feel good about who they have at left tackle right now. Whether they should or not is another question. But
all right. So Philadelphia Eagles. So basically re-signed everybody from their Super Bowl run. And we were talking about this beforehand. And to me, this pick screams Bijan Robinson. But I don't know if they'll draft Bijan this early, but then you look at the board of who's available right now, in our mock, and this seems like a situation where they would love to trade down. Maybe they take a Christian Gonzalez here, or no? Did we already send Christian Gonzalez somewhere?
We sent him to the Raiders.
Okay, yeah. So Christian Gonzalez off the board, but you still have Devin Witherspoon. You still have Skoronski. They have some aging offensive linemen, and they have some offensive linemen they're gonna have to pay soon. So maybe they just add more depth to the offensive line, and their win now scenario. And maybe he'll be a plug and play in the next couple of years. But if we're just talking about we're going for it, we're winning right now, I think it's Bijan.
Let's see. When did Howie start?
We've been there since probably 2013,
the beginning of
2012.
time. Beginning
It
of
is
time.
way
He
too
still
long.
looks like he's like 30.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Front
So
office.
his player personnel role started in 2008. So that's what I'm going to base this on. Since 2008, he has drafted 9 running backs, and the highest pick he's used is 53, which he did twice. So.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy and Miles Sanders. But Bijan's very well respected in the
See, I'm torn
in
on
the
this
process.
because I'm like, I don't know if Howie's going to use a top 10 pick on him, but like Bijan is like the best player.
Oh yeah, I mean
here.
Yeah, and this would be an obvious trade back scenario given the players off the board.
Wait,
But
so Darius Slay's gone, right?
is he gone? No, I thought he stayed.
Did
He
stay?
left and like stayed.
Let's see. Yeah, Slay's still there. Maddox, Bradbury. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think they need a corner that bad because I really like Deonte Banks. Deonte Banks is right here. Devon Witherspoon. Oh, Witherspoon's still on the board too.
Yeah,
like those are both really tempting, but
and Skoronski will give them depth for the future. Their quarterback they just signed long term, but he's probably not going to start immediately.
No, he would probably be on the bench because Cam Jurgens didn't even start last year.
Yeah, so I mean, but it would add depth to their offensive line if they lost anybody down the stretch. That would be the only other pick I could see them making here. They already signed their tight end, so I don't think it would be Meyer or Kincaid here. So let's just give them Bijan. I think they want Bijan, and I think they trade. I think they try to trade back to the 14-17 range, pick up some more draft capital, and get Bijan mid-teens. If we're being completely
yeah.
But
let's do Bijan. Screw it.
For this
it
draft,
just makes the most sense.
Yeah, I mean they're in win now mode. Bijan is the most win now player in this draft.
I have a hard time.
You're not going to get a second contract out of him.
It's like you're either about analytics or you're not. When it comes to drafting running backs this high, there's not a lot of gray area. But at
the same time, they just signed their quarterback, so he's on a big deal. So it's like you want cheap talent around him, and we'll worry about year 5 when year 5 comes around. But I mean, you have a top flight running back for at least 3 years.
Yeah.
And
now, this next pick, or you can finish up your statement. Sorry.
I was just saying you have a top flight running back for the next 3 years. You already have a receiver that you've paid. You already have a tight end that you paid. You have an offensive line that's basically complete with depth. You're like everything is built to win now. So like analytics aside, Bijan is the most win now player.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, the other thing I was thinking was maybe go JSN, but like they run so much heavy, you're not doing that many 3 wide receiver sets.
And JSN is basically Devonta Smith, just a little bit bigger.
Well, hey, 2 Devonta Smiths better than 1 Devonta Smith.
But then you also have AJ Brown in the field, and you also have a good pass catching tight end.
Well, hey, if they ran 11 personnel all the time, I think that makes all the sense in the world. But they don't.
Maybe so. But then, yeah, I mean, I guess. But if you draft JSN, you're basically saying we're not re-signing Devonta Smith, and then does he immediately request a trade?
We're going to trade AJ Brown when we need to pay Devonta.
See, maybe, but I'm keeping AJ Brown over Devonta Smith.
I'm keeping Devonta Smith. I think AJ Brown's game is more likely to age poorly than Devonta Smith's game.
Devonta Smith is also 1 hit away from death. Like he weighs
they've said
60
years now.
Yeah, but eventually he's going to lose a step and get caught. I think. But maybe not.
Maybe.
I like Devontae Smith. I mean, I hate the Eagles, and I like so many of their players that makes me sick. So
Yeah. I'm just thinking back to that picture I sent you when I was in Philly 2 weeks ago.
burn it all to the fucking ground. I
Let
swear.
me see if I can pull that thing up. Just real quick. It can't be too deep in here.
Oh, did you actually post it? I didn't remember.
Oh,
you
yeah.
posted it.
Yeah. This wonderful jacket hat.
Oh. Yeah, burn it. Burn it.
It killed me when I saw it, man.
Yeah.
But so next up here, we got the 11th pick, Tennessee Titans. I don't know if there's a player in this draft that fits Mike Vrabel better than Devon Witherspoon.
No,
I
I
don't even know
agree.
if corner's in need for
I
that.
think that's the pick. Either that or Skansky, but
Skoronski actually makes a lot of sense for them, I think.
Yeah. I'll be right back. Go on.
That might be Skoronski, come to think of it. I tend to think of Tennessee as being like just that they pick the no-brainer guy in spots like this. I mean, yeah, they got Petit Friere at right tackle. They got Brunskill at right guard. They got Dylan Radunes at left guard, who they just drafted in the second 2 years ago. But like, might be time to try something else. They have a makeshift O line. They got Andre Dillard at left tackle, who I like Dillard, but he's very unproven in this league. Like, he hasn't really done a whole lot with the Eagles before this. They need help at arguably 5 positions on the O line, and
they got
Skoronski, who can play all 5 positions. That just makes a lot of sense.
They got absolutely screwed with the was it Isaiah Wilson?
Yeah,
that they drafted late in like 29, who was just like a freak offensive lineman who was supposed to be so good and just like couldn't keep his head on straight. And what did he even ever make even a start before they got rid of him?
I think he played like a year and a half NFL game.
Yeah, he's not even in the league.
He was just like, I got paid, I'm out.
Yeah.
I wonder if he probably had to pay something back, like that signing bonus, I bet.
Yeah.
But they came after him for it. But so now we got Houston.
So I think Houston, they just took Stingley last year. They didn't go no, did we send a quarterback to Houston? We sent
Bryce Young. Got Bryce Young.
Okay. So sending Bryce Young to Houston. They got Stingley last year. I think this,
and they just signed Stevie Nelson for this season. So
with this draft, the way our board is going, I think this pick is JSN.
You think so?
I think so. They lost
because they got John Mechie coming back.
They got Mechie coming back, but they also lost
Brandon Cooks.
Homeboy. Yeah, Brandon Cooks, the Cowboys.
I think they got Robert Woods, though. They got Bobby Trees.
Bobby Trees. But no, I think having you draft a rookie quarterback second overall, you have the 12th overall pick, the number 1 wide receiver still on the board in the same draft. I think that's a no-brainer. Let them develop together along with John Mechie, who Bryce Young already has a relationship with. Try to get that offense rolling right now.
Yeah. My only other thought was Myles Murphy. I could see Myles Murphy, like D'Amico Ryan's getting his defensive guy.
Yeah, but
because that D line needs some help.
I still think Tyree Wilson's the pick for him at 2, and I think they just kind of try to tank it out and get Caleb Williams next year. So let's say they take Tyree Wilson at 2, then I wouldn't be surprised if this pick is like a Dalton Kincaid, a trade back for a first next year.
Or Will Levis.
No.
You don't think Will Levis can get here?
We already sent Will Levis.
You said if Tyree Wilson was the pick.
Yeah, if Tyree Wilson's the pick, then Will Levis is probably still on the board right now. So maybe so. maybe they would take Will Levis here and Tyree Wilson, Will Levis. But with the draft we're doing right now, I don't think. I think if you took Bryce Young 2 overall, Jackson Smith and Jigba still there. You have John Mechie coming back. You have Bobby Trees. You have a good second-year running back coming in. You have probably a top 8 offensive line in the league. You secure your offense. You have 3 good options at wide receiver. You have a good running back. You have a good offensive line. You give your young quarterback a little bit more help, and you take Jackson Smith and Jigba here.
Yeah. Okay, I think you talked me into it. D'Amico's going to be pissed, though.
All right. Green Bay Packers, obviously, they don't take offensive skill positions in the first round ever in Aaron Rodgers' entire career. Aaron Rodgers is now a New York Jet, and I think they take quite possibly maybe the best pass catcher in the draft, and the kid out of Utah, Dalton Kincaid.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah, Devon Witherspoon's got to go at some point here. Like this is hitting the point where you say screw positional need. I'm taking that kid.
Devon Witherspoon and Nolan Smith both, but
yeah,
I think they try to get more help for their quarterback, and they have a pretty good defense. I think this would either be Nolan Smith or Dalton Kincaid over Devon Witherspoon right here. But if you want to send, I mean, Devon Witherspoon is basically a hometown kid.
No, this makes what, from Florida?
Well, he went to Illinois.
Yeah. No, he's. I had this talk on Bears on Tap the other day. We like looked it up. It was like, oh no, he's from Florida, but he went to Illinois. Let me just take a look at their roster real quick. See what Green Bay's got. What they're packing. Okay, so they're still. I mean, Eric Stokes hasn't worked out so far for them, but like he still might be good. It's only been 2 years in the league. Corner's tough spot.
But it's just the perfect Packers move to like never. Yeah. The only offensive player they draft was a quarterback during the Aaron Rodgers era. Then as soon as he leaves, like, okay, let's go get a pass catching tight end for our young quarterback.
Yeah. I don't know though. I mean, are they going to take Kincaid over Green Irish boy Michael Mayer?
I think Kincaid's the better target for a young quarterback. I think Michael Mayer might end up being the better player overall. But if you need somebody to come in and give you good reps right now, give you good looks right now, a guy who can go out there and catch 60 balls at the tight end position, be a good end zone threat immediately, I think would be Dalton Kincaid. If you're talking about a guy like, because they still have to pick up his 5th-year option next year. So it's like they don't know for sure that he's even there. So, I mean, you get him all the help you can get right now, kind of see where you actually stand. And I think Dalton Kincaid is that pick. Even though I personally like Michael Mayer better.
Are you going to lean into A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones and try to make a deep passing attack off the run game? Because that's Michael Mayer.
Quentin Johnson?
No, I was saying that's Michael Mayer because you need the blocker to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like you need that guy who's attacking linebackers the second level, and then after he puts a guy in the dirt, he runs right by him the next play instead and has a 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah, it very well could be. I'm fine with either tight end here. I think they go skill position here.
I think it's. I'll go Kincaid because I think you make a really good point about they need to know about Jordan Love.
Yeah, immediately. You're on Witherspoon.
Yeah. Not bad. So let's see. Man, they are reaching by my board, which I'm fine with. I'm A-okay with the Packers reaching all the time. And of course, Bill Belichick gets Devon Witherspoon.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. Devon Witherspoon falls this far, and they don't even question it. The pick is in before the Kincaid pick is even read.
Yeah, that's the biggest no-brainer of this mock. If he actually falls this far, that'll be something. Like,
All
I mean,
right,
I
so,
like Gonzalez more, but Witherspoon is a
yeah.
hell of a football player.
So let's pick for the New York Jets. They have a pretty good young defense. I think they would like to. I think they would be the perfect team to move up to get a Skoronski or a Paris Johnson. Honestly, if
Yeah.
let's say Paris Johnson doesn't go to the Bears, and the Eagles are sitting there at 10, and they don't want to take Bijan, I think the Jets are the perfect team to move up from 15 to 10 and get a Paris Johnson, and then the Eagles fall back to 15 and take Bijan.
Yeah,
But
I can see that. But
we're
also, they probably don't need to move up because, like, I mean, at least they can get Darnell Wright right here, and
yeah,
Darnell Wright's as pro ready as they come.
yeah, and they could try to shore up that defensive line, get a good pass rush in that division. There'll be some guys in the second round that they'll have an opportunity to get as well. They have a nasty D line already. Maybe they take the kid out of Georgia, or maybe they go DB here.
Who they got at left tackle?
Mekhi Becton, technically.
Yeah, but does he even
But
actually count? Like, is he ever
yeah,
going to be
that's what I'm
healthy?
saying. Yeah, that's why they need to go get a Paris Johnson.
I mean, they need right tackle and left tackle.
Yeah. So I think I think they're the perfect trade partner for Philly if Paris Johnson falls.
Yeah. I mean,
But in this
I'm talking
scenario,
more for this, like, because if I'm them, I'm thinking, and I probably have Aaron Rodgers whispering in my ear, I need
yeah,
someone who's ready now, not Broderick Jones, who might be ready, might not. I need Darnell
yeah,
Wright, who is good to go.
yeah. I'm fine with Darnell right here. I mean, in this mock, they are a team. They're a win now team, and he fills a position of need. Like corner's not going to really help him out. Defensive line's not really going to help him out. They're set at the running back position. They don't need wide receivers. Maybe a Michael Mayer if Aaron Rodgers really has the ear of the organization, but I think it's Michael Mayer or tackle here in our no
Yeah,
trade mock draft.
I'm going Darnell Wright on this.
Let's
I
go
think
Darnell Wright.
that just makes too much
I like
sense.
Darnell Wright a lot. I mean, he's a damn good player for him.
Okay, and now we got
So
Washington football people.
So this is a pick that I think that they will do just because they're in the division and he's my favorite player in the draft. I think this is Steve Avila.
Really?
I think he goes earlier than people expect. He could play all 5 positions in the offensive line. They need somebody to fill a position somewhere. I don't know where that position is that they need filled, but he's a guy they can
Left
bring
guard.
in. He's a guy they could bring in and fill one of their 4 needs. Like they need somebody on the O line to step up, and
Yeah.
he's a guy that can walk in and do it day one. And I would hate it. I want Avila to go to the Cowboys. I will say that. So if we don't send him here, I'm sending him to the Cowboys. But he feels, and the Washington football team is also notorious for like taking a guy they want and like reaching for a position I need rather than best player on the board.
Yeah. I mean, they are. Absolutely. But I'm curious. I want to see here if what type of experience. So Wiley can play guard. You
Yeah.
signed Wiley to be right tackle, but he has plenty of experience at guard.
They definitely don't need defensive line. And that's
Yeah,
kind of
no, I was no. Well, where I'm going with this is Broderick Jones.
Yeah, Broderick Jones.
but he's never really played the right side either. So
Yeah.
that's a iffy spot. Um, and are they still trying Cosme at left tackle? Or no, Leno Jr.'s. He's been fine there. Man, I don't know. This is just early for Avila. Like, I mean, I think he's going to go in the 30s, but like,
I think he goes in the 20s, honestly, but um that's just speculation. Maybe they go quarter, or maybe they go wide receiver here. Maybe they go Quentin Johnson or Jordan Addison, and just try to
I mean, I could see
shore up
him going corner too.
corner as well. I could see him trying to shore up that wide receiver room, but like, why would you want to? I don't. Their quarterback's obviously not the quarterback of the future. I don't know what they're trying to do. And are they trying to build value for the next owner coming in? Like, you don't know how this front office is going to draft. Like,
You know what? I'm calling a wild card on this one. I think they're going to do something weird and stupid because they are not under a true, like a good ownership base right now.
yeah,
They're going to take Miles Murphy.
Miles Murphy. I mean, yeah. I mean, what's better than a 6-man rotation, 7-man rotation?
Just follow the
Like,
trend, man. Just keep doing what they do.
yeah,
Where is he?
you passed him. He's right there.
Ah,
Up, right there. Yeah,
yeah.
Miles Murphy. I mean, hell of a player.
I mean,
Good for them.
he's the number 7 player on my board. Like,
Yeah,
it's great
no, yeah.
value. And I mean,
And
you don't know if Chase Young is any good anymore. So
yeah, and I think this pick for the Pittsburgh is just slapping you in the face. I think it's Deontay Banks out of Maryland. They need DB. They lost DB and in the offseason. They may or may not have a quarterback that they trust going forward. I think that's the pick.
yeah, they need offensive tackle help too. I know that. And you still got Broderick Jones staring me in the face here.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm not sure if I'm starting Broderick Jones over Dan Moore Jr. from day one.
Exactly. And I could see them actually going wide receiver here. Maybe a Jordan Addison or Quentin Johnson here. But they draft so well at wide receiver
Yeah,
that,
I don't think it's a priority for them.
I mean, historically, I mean, is there a better team at drafting wide receivers after the first round than the Steelers in the last 10 years?
I mean, in the first round?
After the first round.
Oh, after the first round. Okay.
Saying like they can wait on it.
Yeah. You know, this is where stuff can get wild because adding Mozzie Smith to this D line would be utterly filthy.
Yeah, it would. And
I'm way higher on Mozzie than the consensus, but I think
I like
he's gonna
Mozzie
go
Smith a
higher
lot.
than the consensus.
I like Mozzie Smith a lot.
But it's hard to pass on Banks here. They do need corner help. They got Ahkello Witherspoon out here, and
this could also be a Bachmeier pick right here.
They just took Freiermuth first round.
Freiermuth wasn't first round, was he?
Or second round, but they just took him and he's done well.
Yeah, he's done well for him. Yeah,
you know they need help in nickel and outside. You're right. It's Deontay Banks.
I think so, and in this scenario, it's got to be. So we'll send the Maryland kid over to Western Pennsylvania. All right, Detroit Lions here, and I think as much as it was a gift for them to get Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith is staring him in the face right here.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
they got a handful. Like the top 3 players on my board right now are interior D line, edge, interior D line, edge, interior.
Just keep shoring up that D line. I mean, they shored up their DBs already. Jameson Williams is suspended for 6 games. So maybe they say screw it and like let's just go get Jordan Addison and have all the receivers. Or I don't think they would take Quentin Johnson in this spot because Jamison Williams is just a better Quentin Johnson, but Jordan Addison is like he is. Who is their wide receiver that I love so much? Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jordan
Yeah,
Addison is like very similar to Monroe St. Brown. So you have
I think
two
so.
like as far as like route running and possession receiver, and
Yeah, I
I,
guess
I
so.
I think so. I mean, not. I mean, I'm not saying like one for one comparison,
Yeah.
but very similar players. And then when Jamison Williams comes back, you still have somebody who take the top off. Then you still have Reynolds there. Like,
See, when I'm looking at this receiver core, they're missing an X. Like Quentin
yeah,
Johnson makes a lot of sense to me here. And so is Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith just feels like a Dan Campbell pick.
I think Nolan Smith would be perfect. But they did get rid of their tight end last year. Maybe they got Michael Meyer, but I think Nolan Smith, and you just have a nasty, nasty offensive line, especially when you're going to be chasing around Justin Fields all over the place. You want to have a good deep rotation. You add two studs to your defensive line with your two top 20 picks. I think Nolan Smith is perfect for this team.
Yeah, I'm going. I think who do we have them taken earlier? They took Jalen
Jalen
Carter.
Carter. It's going to be a nasty defensive line.
I think that might balance it out more because they still got the Okwaras there too. I think. Man, this is a tough pick. Yeah, they still got Romeo. He was hurt a lot last year. They just took Pascal last year in the
Yeah.
second
But,
round.
I mean, in that division, you have two running quarterbacks, and then you have somebody who's a pocket passer. I mean, D line, D line, D line, like go after it. Like you can score the points, like get after the quarterback. I I think I think in this scenario, Nolan Smith makes perfect sense.
I think it makes perfect sense. It's just I'm just questioning whether they will dump more premium draft capital into the position when they've only given the last guy a year to try when he was injured for half the year,
But
you
I mean,
know?
look at the Eagles. I mean, they just kept doing it, and then they just had a great rotation.
Hey, not everyone's Howie, man.
That's true. That's true. But
Not everyone's that smart.
you can't have
Um,
too you can't have too many good defensive linemen.
I think I'm gonna go Quentin Johnson on this one. I just
Okay.
think that they really need that X.
Yeah, let's throw Quentin Johnson, and then they'll have three really good receivers, and that'll also fill the void of Jamison Williams missing the first 6 games.
Yeah.
Okay, Tampa needs everything. Uh, I don't let. Should we just should we
Man,
just
I don't
give
even know.
Tampa Nolan Smith here? I don't know. So what do they do? They
I
won
mean,
their Super
maybe.
Bowl.
I mean, they do need edge help. I mean, Tryon Shoyinka's okay, but he's not
Yeah,
anything special. Um,
Baker Mayfield there. Like, I don't think they go tight end here.
where'd they draft Kate Otten? Kate Otten was in the fourth.
Is Kate Otten their number one tight
Tight
end?
end. Yeah. Or, well, I mean, maybe. I mean, let's see. They might still have Cameron Brate there. No.
Yeah.
Cole Keefe's their number two.
Huh. But yeah, I mean, like
They just use a second on Gadecki, but I think you could slide Gadecki inside to guard. And then, like, Hainsey is a center. This is all messed up from
and Jensen's not going to be there much longer.
injuries that they had.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so Hainsey's Gadecki's your guard. I think
if you're
Broderick
built
Jones.
if you're building for the future, Broderick Jones, I think, is the pick here, and
Yeah,
you get Caleb Williams next year because I don't see them winning very many games.
yeah. Let's go
Like,
Broderick Jones.
you have Drake May, you have Caleb Williams, then there's a couple other guys that are going to be available next year. Just shore up that offensive line and build for the future as best you can do.
Wait, so we had Seattle taking Tyree
Larry
Wilson.
Wilson. Yeah, so right here, I could really see them going after a guy like Brian Branch. They have Blitzboy there still, Jamal Adams, but I mean, I think Brian Branch would be perfect for this defense. They like to play defense there. Um, don't really need a whole lot of offensive help. Maybe offensive line, but we just sent Broderick Jones away, so it's like, man, I don't know.
So Kobe Bryant actually played pretty well in the slot for them for a rookie.
But I just don't think Jamal I think he would be basically taking Jamal Adams' job.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, Jamal Adams is such a liability in coverage,
Yeah,
and
maybe, but
if you move Jamal Adams to like a nickel, like basically off ball linebacker, that's
but
where he would
that's what
shine.
Brian Branch did at Alabama.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not Brad Smith. I mean, oh man,
See, I'm leaning towards Kalijah Cansey or Mozzie Smith or Brian Brzee because they need some meat in the middle.
yeah.
And I mean, if there is one coach who I think would love Cansey, I think it's Pete Carroll.
Nolan
And
Smith
I
is
think
still there too, though.
he is. We already took Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, I know, but value. Yeah, let's put Mozzie Smith here. Nobody else is gonna have Mozzie Smith here. Let's go Mozzie Smith. Tyree Wilson, Mozzie Smith.
Sold.
You
Although
know,
I think Cansey would be their guy, but I'm down to do Mozzie Smith here.
I think this makes too much sense. This is we're talking. We a couple of people have had gifts fall into their lap. I think Jordan Addison sitting here at 21 for the Chargers is an absolute gift from the heavens.
Yeah, that's an easy one for them. Or Zay Flowers. I like Zay Flowers more, but
yeah, I mean we can do either one. It don't matter. I think they go wide receiver here.
I think you'd go Addison probably. I have a higher grade on Flowers, but I think Addison is more
Because Allen
let's
is
say being a guy who can play outside. Like
Allen's on his way out. And if he's not on his way out, he's going to be expensive to keep. If you want to keep him any longer, you've already paid Williams. They like their tight end. Yeah. I also could see this being a Bijan landing spot if he's not off the board yet, but in this scenario, he's already off the board.
yeah, I like Jordan Addison here.
Yeah,
I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
All right.
Okay, so
now we're at Baltimore. So they went out and signed OBJ. They need edge. Nolan Smith is sitting there. I think this is clear cut. Nolan Smith.
Yeah, I agree. This is a perfect fit for them too, and that the front they run heavier front, and the linebackers don't need to be as bulky. I think that's a dream fit for them.
I agree.
Yeah, Nolan Smith.
They're gonna barely miss out on getting their wide receiver to try to salvage what relationship they have left with Lamar Jackson.
There's a Minnesota Vikings. Whew. This is an interesting one.
Yeah, so I like Joey Porter here for him. I don't know what Minnesota's end goal is here because the Kirk Cousins situation can't last much longer. It's like if you think you can win now, they traded for a tight end last year, so they don't need a tight end. Do they reach for a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs here? Cook's been on the trading block. If they keep Cook, I think Jahmyr Gibbs would be the absolute perfect complement to that offense. But they also need defense. You see Detroit loading up on defense in this same draft. So do they try to do the same thing, or do they say we trust who we have and we try to keep up with Detroit's high-powered scoring offense? Because I think Jahmyr Gibbs, this would be. We talked about it a little bit a while ago, but it's like how much do you value a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs?
And their GM is the analytics guy of all analytics guys.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he could be convinced into drafting a running back this high.
No, I mean I agree. I'm just talking.
Oh, logically, yeah. I follow.
I like Kancey here. I like Forbes here. I think Joey Porter Jr. makes sense here. So I mean, they can go a lot of different directions with who's on the board for him here.
They're going to go premium position, so that means offensive tackle, cornerback, wide receiver. Like they got just the way that they
Let's send them Forbes then.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, but they took Andrew Booth last year in the second round at 42. They just signed Byron Murphy, who was a great signing. Like that was a steal. They got Caleb Evans on the outside, but he had a rough year.
We got Kancey there too. Shore up that defensive line a little bit.
Yeah, so Kancey might be a little light for them because I mean they're already running Zadarius Smith inside.
Yeah. No.
In their base, I mean they need some. I mean they got some heavy guys up there, but I don't know if they have anyone that's all that good. Let's see who we got. Who we got on the board? Oh, I think they're going Brian Brzee. I don't think Brzee getting much past the early 20s. I think that. And this is why I like to use my board instead of the draft simulators board, just because I see the options that I think are more valuable. Where are you at, B. Ryan? There you
are. Clemson guy.
And he's a guy who's going to help them now, too, is like the idea, I think.
Jacksonville Jaguars. See, they took they took an edge rusher a couple of years ago. Who was that?
They took one last year, number 1.
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker.
That seems like so long
ago.
They've
taken like 3 guys early. They took Chazon in the first.
Yeah.
They took Walker number 1.
Yeah.
They took Josh Allen number 7.
Josh Allen's been really good for them.
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker wasn't that great last year. Aiden Hutchinson, goodness gracious. They were getting Riley Ridley back. They got Travis Etienne. They need help on the offensive line, but I don't know where you go offensive line here.
I feel like all these guys are younger or paid heavily. Like I don't know if you're upgrading any of these guys. Maybe Barch, but
not in this spot. I don't.
If I'm honest, there's just not a guy who stands out here that I'm saying like that makes a lot of sense. Like I love Bergeron, but I don't think he makes the most sense here.
I like Lucas Van Ness a lot here for him.
You think so? What they got inside on the D lines? They got Devon Hamilton was good, solid for them last year. They paid Fatukasi a ton to come there.
Yeah, I also like.
I'm thinking Brian Branch.
Brian Branch. I was either that.
They need help in nickel and at safety.
Yeah. Brian Branch
makes sense too, but I think they Tyson Campbell has been good for them.
Let's send him Brian Branch.
Darius Williams, they just paid. I think Brian Branch makes sense because he can help him up at nickel or up at safety or in the nickel spot.
Yeah. Let's send him Brian Branch.
Brian Branch, you are a Jacksonville Jaguar.
All right, New York 24? Giants.
Favorite.
All right. So I think the same thing I said about the Washington football team. I think Giants would go Steve Avila here and destroy my heart.
I think you're just preparing. You're putting in mental hedges everywhere for Steve Avila.
I love him.
Hey, so he's a great player, man. So no need for edge for really D line here. They're so stacked there already. Use some corner help. Definitely use some wide receiver help.
Interior offensive line.
They just took Wandell Robinson, so they're not going to take Zay Flowers, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. But
They
you
could
know, it'd
really
be the
use outside
perfect.
receiver.
It'd be the perfect compliment to Saquon Barkley.
Who?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
I
I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs would pair better with anybody in the league other than Saquon Barkley. It'd be a match made in heaven if we're just sending him somewhere. But Matthew Bergeron would be good for him. Cansey, if they're just trying to go after D line, because I mean you can never have too many defensive linemen.
So let's think about this. The Bills front office is the Giants front office, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what the Bills did for Josh Allen. Let's take a look at what their strategy was. So that was Josh Allen was 2018, 2022. Draft team. Let's go to Buffalo Super Bowl, Super Bills.
They'll get there one of these
let's
days.
go in the first 2 rounds. Let's see what they did for Josh Allen.
It was a lot of defense.
Might have been
Kyrie Elam, James Cook, Greg Rousseau, Bobby Basham.
Yeah, there's a lot of D line.
Ed Oliver.
The Giants already got a lot of D line.
You can't have too much D line.
See Cody Ford in here. That's the rest is all defense.
I don't think you can have too much D line. I think Cansey makes a lot of sense for him here. Will McDonald makes a lot of sense. I think McDonald would be.
You can't, but they are just stacked, and have needs elsewhere. You know.
Yeah, they just take Thibodeau last year. Is Emmanuel Forbes still on the board?
Yeah, I think Emmanuel Forbes might be a good pick here.
I think so too.
They got Cordell Flott on the outside, who he was better than expected last year.
What a name!
But he didn't play that much even.
Yeah, round 3 pick.
And I don't. These depth charts might be a little outdated. These might be like end of season or something. But
yeah, I think Forbes makes a lot of sense for him here.
Yeah. Let's see, where are you at, Emmanuel? No, you're not far down my list. There we go. So let's pick what? 26.
That's not typing.
I was not typing. Yeah, I think his ball hawking style will play well in Winks defense.
Yeah.
And we got
Cowboys on the board.
Dallas Cowboys. And I think I know where you're going with this, but this is your pick, buddy.
I mean, to me, it's Steve Avila. I don't know if that's what they'll actually do. I love Will McDonald in this spot. I love Jahmyr Gibbs, but I would if Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan are both here, everybody's gonna want Bijan. I would rather have Jahmyr Gibbs, but the right pick to me is Steve Avila, and just give depth to that interior O line. And Tyler Smith is the future at left tackle, I would think. Tyron Smith is on his way out. Biotish has been good, not great. You get Steve Avila in there, give you some depth for the season. Somebody's probably going to get hurt because their offensive line hasn't stayed together at all the past 3 or 4 years. So maybe he doesn't start the first 4 or 5 games, and Tyron Smith goes out. Tyler Smith goes to left tackle, or Steele goes out and Zach Martin goes to right tackle. He's a plug and play guy. He knows every position on the field. He's very cerebral. And having that group of veterans around him with 2 future Hall of Famers on the offensive line with him, and then him and Tyler Smith can grow together on the offensive line. I think it's an absolute match made in heaven. I think it's the perfect pick. And Yeah, it's Steve Avila.
So I mean, this one's all you. So you get Steve. You want Steve Avila, you get Steve Avila. But
Yes.
if I'm the Cowboys, I'm taking Keanu Benton.
See, I don't think Will McDonald's gonna fall this far, but I would love Will McDonald here too.
I think Will McDonald would be an outstanding pick. I just don't think it makes that much sense for the Cowboys.
I think Parsons is eventually gonna get away from the maybe not. I mean, he is such a good pass rusher, but he's such a good everything else too. So it's like, do they ever get Parsons' hand out of the
Did they
dirt?
bring back Fowler Jr.? Dante Fowler?
I think he was a 2-year contract when they signed him.
Okay. Yeah, so that's where I like you have DeMarcus Lawrence, you have Fowler, you have Parsons, you have Sam Williams. Like, how much more can you ask for in one
Yeah,
position?
and
But
so
if you're going to move him back to linebacker, like you're saying, then maybe. But like
I think
I've been saying, this, I've been saying for years, the Cowboys need to invest on more beef up front, and they never
yeah.
do. And I
Well,
think Benton would help them a ton.
yeah, a ton on that interior D line, but they also have a Digazui who was incredible last year for him, and he's a little bit undersized, but he plays 60 pounds bigger than he is.
So
Like,
imagine what happens when you put a guy who's not undersized next to him.
very true. But the offensive line as it stands can hold its own, but they haven't been able to stay healthy. And when you get a guy like Avila who can come in, if your center goes down, he can play center. If your tackle goes down, you have 2 guards that can swing out to tackle, and he can fill either one of the guard roles. And worst case scenario, if he needs to play tackle, like he can, like
I hear
it's
you, man.
it's a perfect fit, and I think he can be a 7 to 10 year starter for him.
Yeah, that versatility is huge. Like, that matters so much.
especially with
Um,
especially when Tyler Smith and Zach Martin can both play tackle in a pinch, and so then you basically have 3 guys that can play every position on the line.
yeah, absolutely. So now we got the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills here.
Wow.
So I'm saying Jahmyr Gibbs here. Buffalo Bills, they do everything they can to find a running back, and they have a running back that is pretty good for them that they just refuse to give the ball to. They bring in a different running back every week. They trade for 7 different running backs. They draft different running backs. I think historically speaking, there's no way they don't take Jahmyr Gibbs here.
I mean, you make a really good point.
Like,
The Buffalo Bills and running backs are it's something to behold. Like, it's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
who's their running back that's actually good that they hate?
Devin Singletary, and
Yeah,
he's not
Devin
even there
Singletary.
anymore. He walked this year in free
Oh, he
agency.
did? Oh,
But
okay,
like,
okay. I didn't remember that. Yeah, Devin Singletary was so good for him. And they were just like James Cook, who the guy they brought over from Indy, like everybody else that they signed in the meantime. It was just like the Devil Singletary's like, bro, I'm getting 6 yards of carry over here. Like, and they're like, oh, we'll give you 6 carries this week. They drafted Zach Moss after him. Like, it's just like,
you know what? So if I'm the Bills, and I saw how my defense changed last year when Von Miller went down, I know he might be out for half the season this year, if not a little
yeah.
more. And I see Will McDonald on the board.
Will McDonald's it's a gift in their lap, but I think they would take Jahmyr Gibbs, but Will McDonald, in my opinion, would be the pick.
Yeah, let's do Will McDonald here. So that's pick 28.
All right, Cincinnati Bengals. Did they lose a little bit defensive line, or do they still have everybody?
Let's see.
I want to say they lost somebody.
I know BJ Hill's still there. Yeah, I mean, he's really good.
Yeah, BJ Hill's really good. I mean,
Joseph Osai.
Okay, yeah, they're still solid. So I think this could be Emmanuel Forbes, or it could be Michael Mayer.
Oh, so we already sent Emmanuel Forbes over to
Oh, did we send Emmanuel Forbes somewhere finally?
Giants.
Giants, okay.
Yeah.
I think Michael Mayer makes a lot of sense for him here.
Mayer, or I could see like Bergeron or Anton Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, their tackle situation is pretty. Who's the guy they signed from? Lyle
Orlando
Collins.
Brown. They got Orlando Brown Jr. and
But
now
Lyle
Lyle
Collins
Collins
is
might not be a Bengal for long.
the most unreliable player in the league. So if they want to go get Bergeron, I think it would be a perfect fit for him. Listen to Bergeron.
Bergeron just feels like a Bengal. Like,
yeah, they also lost their running back.
He feels like a Bill or a Bengal. One of the two.
Do we know anything about the running back situation? I don't think they would go running back there, but
yeah, neither do I.
Because their running back got caught with some Mixon was doing some whack shit over the offseason. I don't remember whatever came of it, but
there was a lot of stuff going on with Mixon. It was ugly. I'd never learned the specifics. I just know there was a lot of it going on.
Yeah, so they definitely
Travion, but there are people who will die on the hill that Travion Williams is going to be good once he finally gets an opportunity.
Yeah.
But with how deep this running back class is, I don't think they're too worried about it.
Yeah, I think they can get they can get Charbonnet or somebody like that in the second round and be all right. So yeah, let's send them.
The thought of Gibbs with Burrow is disgusting.
Very much so. Let's send them Bergeron.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Let's send them Bergeron. Because I already know where Gibbs is going. He's going in the first round. And he's going to be the exact same pick that this team made 3 years ago, but it's going to be right this time.
Now we got the Saints.
So Saints are a team that I could see trading up, but if they're in this spot here, I think they just go Foskey or Kancey.
Yeah, I think I tend to think that the Saints just love freak traits.
Yeah.
So to me, that's Kancey or Van Ness.
Yeah, Van Ness. I mean, still sitting there is pretty intriguing, but I think Kancey. I think Kancey.
As I'm thinking about it, the violence that Kancey plays with just matches the Saints defense.
Yeah, but the Saints are their GM's been there since what, 06? He's probably got the most secure job in the world. So they're probably going to trade up and get somebody, I would assume. Philadelphia is on the clock again here, and we sent them Bijan earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I think.
So this is the big question with the Eagles, and if they take Bijan, are they going to regret it because they could have had Gibbs at 30?
Well, no, because Bijan or Gibbs. I think Gibbs is going to be perfect in a complimentary role. So do they take both?
There you go.
So Zay Flowers is sitting there for him. Harrison, they're drafting for depth at this point. It's what do they need? Man, I mean, if you're looking long term, maybe they could go out and get a tackle, interior offensive line, but Zay Flowers maybe. But like we said earlier, it's I think this is a perfect scenario to trade again for them. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they trade both their first round picks. But did we send Will McDonald already?
Yeah, Will McDonald's gone. Okay. Foskey's the top edge on the board for me. Van Ness makes sense too.
I think Van Ness. I'll listen to Van Ness.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning to. It's a guy who can play all over the D line.
And he'll get 7 sacks for him his rookie year, and they'll have another 67 sacks in the season. Just be dickheads about it. That's 30.
And then
30.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I got you, fam. And then Kansas City Chiefs. I loved what they did a couple years ago with the running back out of LSU, whose name is
Yeah,
escaping me.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yes, it didn't work out. Jameer Gibbs is better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They have the kid out of Rutgers last year, who I cannot think of his name right now.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Isaiah Pacheco. Isaiah Pacheco is a dog, and the perfect complement to that is Jameer Gibbs. So you go out and you get Jameer Gibbs. You get the 5 years out of him. Him and Pacheco are an absolute monster of a duo with Patrick Mahomes. You can do whatever you want. You got wide receivers running all over the field. Maybe it's Michael Meyer, and you get a blocking tight end to complement Travis Kelce. And Travis Kelce is not going to play forever. He's getting old, so maybe it's the perfect transition. And Patrick Mahomes has loved his tight ends from college all the way through. So I think this pick is either Michael Mayer or Jameer Gibbs. I'll hear your argument for anybody else.
To me, it's Jameer Gibbs or Zay Flowers, and I'm really struggling because I can play Jameer Gibbs in the slot if I want, but I they just made the mistake with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I wonder if they're going to hold up on the
Andy Reid's not scared.
You're right. Andy Reid is not scared.
I mean, worst case scenario, it doesn't work and they win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, like that. Well, that's the thing that's holding me up with Zay Flowers. It's like they just gave Pat Mahomes nothing at receiver and still won the Super Bowl. So
yeah, exactly.
They just took Karlaftis last year.
Who do they have? So they have Kadarius Toney, who has never been healthy.
They still have him though.
But is Zay Flowers better than the options you can pick up in the second and third round? And in my opinion, no.
Wait, do they not have a right tackle?
No, they do. They signed somebody. Who did they sign from?
Jawan Taylor, but he's a left tackle now.
So maybe they don't. So maybe they get the kid out of Oklahoma. But
yeah, it's kind of what I'm wondering if they go take Anton Harrison.
They're gonna make a right decision, and let's just give them Jameer Gibbs for shits and giggles.
Let me think it through just a second more. Yeah, Chris Jones. They're not worried about adding on the interior with Benton. I don't think this early, at least. I really think they might take Anton Harrison here. Because that is the last of the tackles. Like, that is the last of the guys you feel comfortable starting.
Yeah, I mean, but when they took Creed Humphrey, everybody was like kind of shocked. And then he was just immediately the best center in the league.
But that's center and tackle.
I know, but
I expect the same things.
But Taylor Lewan won't play right tackle. But he's been beating the drum for Kansas City to sign him on a minimum.
Let's see. So where they got tackle? Prince Tega Wanogo. Darian Kennard.
Beast.
Okay, this is outdated because this doesn't even know. Or maybe, it's just under O-line. Lucas Niang. Yeah, they need a tackle. I don't know if I can see them passing on Anton Harrison.
Well, you got Anton Harrison. I'm fine with that.
Sorry to do it to you, but I got to. This is a deep running back class, and this is the last tackle. That's like...
Yeah.
And that does it.
That's grading our draft. All right, so we have CJ Stroud 1. Oh, CJ Stroud to the Panthers. Bryce Young to the Texans. Will Anderson to the Cardinals. Anthony Richardson to the Colts. Terry Wilson to Seattle. Jalen Carter to the Lions. Christian Gonzalez to the Raiders. Will Levis to the Falcons. Paris Johnson to the Bears. Bijan to the Eagles. Skoronski to Tennessee. Jackson Smith and Jigba to Houston. Dalton Kincaid to Green Bay. Devon Witherspoon to the Patriots. I love this draft.
I think we did good.
I think we knocked it out of the park.
And we keep in mind we mostly followed the Shaving Points board,
Yeah.
which is very different from a lot of the other boards.
Yeah,
Next,
the lowest graded prospect that went in the first round was Will Levis.
yeah, he 100 something on my board.
So who outside of him, who was the lowest?
Richardson
Anthony
at
or okay,
77.
well,
So
take
not
quarterbacks
outside
out.
of quarterback, 41, Dalton Kincaid.
Okay. So and
But the
it's
next
also a
best
Bears board.
available. Yeah, this is also it's important to note. This is a Chicago Bears board. Next best available that we got on the board going in the second round is Zay Flowers, Joe
Joe
Tippmann,
Tippmann, Keanu Benton,
Jahmyr Gibbs, King Felix, and Duke Uzoma,
who
Zach
is
Charbonnet.
what is the Bears second round pick from the Carolina? What number is that?
Not good. It's like 60 something.
Is that low?
Yeah.
I thought they got Carolina's second round pick.
They're 53.
Yeah, so it's
No,
9.
53 is the Ravens pick. They didn't get Carolina's second round pick. They got someone else's. I forget who it was, but it wasn't Carolina's. Carolina just owned it.
Oh, and then they got the Ravens for the linebacker trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be real nice if they were picking 32.
Oh, it would be outstanding.
But y'all got a badass receiver that is incredible for that. So
yeah, Claypool's great.
Imagine if you had 32 right now.
I'd be stoked. I'd be looking at
So is the 32?
Who would I want at 32? At 32, I'd probably want Keanu Benton if they took Paris Johnson already. If they didn't, I might want Joe Tippmann. But
is it? Do you think it's kind of bullshit that the 32nd overall pick this year doesn't get the benefits of being a first round pick?
No. Why should they?
32 picks in every other round. I mean, as a player, you would probably rather get
from the player aspect. Yeah, from the player, I didn't think about it that way. That's a good point. It is from player aspect.
But some players would rather be drafted 33 rather than 32 because they don't have to put up with the fifth year option.
Yeah.
So I guess it's more of a team benefit than a player benefit between 32 and 33 in a normal draft.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There's nothing guaranteed about the fifth year, so you're right. I mean, that's why you see teams trade up all the time for it.
Yeah, late first, just so you get that fifth year option. So, yeah, I guess for the player, it's better because the money is probably not that much different.
Yeah, but man, I do like this draft.
I think we killed it.
There's going to be haters, but I don't care. I like this class a lot.
Yeah, some things that are made like I don't think CJ Stroud's going 1, which means Bryce Young won't go 2, which means Will Anderson probably won't be there at 3.
Changes everything.
Yeah, so
but I really think Carolina's throwing smoke. I think they're trying to make Houston trade up, and Houston's just saying no, we're not going to stop.
I think from 5 on though, we could be pretty good, like pretty accurate from there.
Yeah. I'll be very happy if Jalen Carter is not a Detroit Lion, but
man, if the Lions get both Jalen Carter and Quentin Johnson, that's a gift. So grading the first round,
well, like that's the thing though, like that. There's gonna be so many gifts. This class is pretty dang deep. Like I keep hearing people say
it's not top heavy.
I don't understand how
but it's very deep. Yeah.
Yeah, like we still got Zay Flowers, Joe Tippmann, Keanu Benton, Jahmyr Gibbs, Michael Mayer on the board.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't feel like any of these guys who we took are not first round talents.
Yeah. And so let's say the draft were to go like this. Who do you think are the winners? Like immediately Detroit stands out to me as like killing it. And then Seattle, New England getting Devon Witherspoon at 14.
That's
be an absolute gift. even Washington getting Miles Murphy at 16 is huge.
Yeah. That's why I said him there is like, I mean, that's what Washington does, and this is great value.
Yeah, Buffalo get Will McDonald at 27 is huge.
Yeah. I think I'd give it to Buffalo. I love Will McDonald.
Oh, so do I. And
I think that means so much to have him cheap while they have Von Miller across from him. Like,
but I still gotta say, like, I think having 2 first-round picks, I don't think the Lions have a better scenario than Jalen Carter, Quentin Johnson there.
No. I mean, I'm really interested to see where Quentin Johnson ends up because he's gone from top 5 to second round to like, and it's all over the place.
I don't like Quentin Johnson, but you look at that wide receiver room.
He's a top 20 player in the draft.
Him being possibly like the 4th option on that team completely changes it to where
you're saying after a running back, or who are the other 3?
You have Amon St. Brown, you have Jamison Williams, and then Jared Goff. Jared Goff loves Josh Reynolds.
I know, loves Josh Reynolds.
yeah. I mean, he's not, but even so, I mean, even in that scenario, he'd be 3rd with Josh Reynolds being 4th, and Josh Reynolds caught like 47 balls last year.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I just think that fits that fills out like the receiver room so well. You have Amon St. Brown working the middle. You have Jamison Williams as your just disgusting deep threat.
Yeah,
and you have Quentin Johnson Jr. playing like playing the X role where he can play the whole side and yard after catch stuff.
The good thing about this,
like they hit all 3 levels.
The good thing about that scenario too would be Quentin Johnson basically running the 2 for the first 6 games and then get some pressure off him after week 6.
Yeah.
Which could even open up his game even more with Jamison Williams coming back. So you get that kind of thrown into the fire type scenario for him, but eventually the pressure will be off of him.
Yeah.
And if he performs it that way, then you have Jamison Williams walking into a scenario to where it's like you have 2 really good wide receivers and you're adding one of the most dangerous deep threats in the game.
Do you just make the Lions Super Bowl contenders?
I think they already are Super Bowl contenders.
No, I think we made them that.
Oh, we've been saying it for years.
Don't sleep on them.
Don't sleep on them. Jordan Addison to the Chargers is a sneaky good pick, but Chargers are one of those teams that's just like, I don't think you could give the Chargers everybody in the world and they'll figure out a way to screw it up. So
yeah. I mean, Chargers going to Charger. We know
Chargers going to Charger. Yeah. But I like it. We'll post the graphic up on the Twitter and get roasted for it. I can't wait. So
yeah, we'll get this out fresh in the morning. Thanks for joining us, folks.
Yes, sir. It was a good time. And be sure to check out the draft guide, 7-points.com if you're still watching.
Yeah. Let's throw that up there. And let's see. Let's just do this. Show you guys the goods.
Yeah, break down the draft guide for him a little bit. Maybe we could do a separate video on that.
Yeah, so first tab here. Here's player cards. You can go through 200 some players in here. Find scouting reports on a bunch of them. We got all their measurements, combine testing, pro day testing are both in here. If it's green, they were above average. You got the average line right here. If it was red, they were below average for the position group in this specific draft. So let's take a look at someone. Let's take a look at one of my favorites, Will McDonald, just because he is awesome at football. So we can see relative athletic score, 9.66, outstanding, well above the average 7.8 for the position in this class. Right on par, a little below average, but not much in height and weight. He's well below average, but his arms, he's got some big old noodles on his shoulders. He can reach all the way across the room.
Grab anything you
Vertical
need.
jump, well above average, broad, elite level broad jump. 40 was slightly below average, but right there, right at it, 4.7 versus 4.67. And the most important ones, I think, for edge rusher, shuttle and three cone, just way above average. This guy can bend like crazy. And someday he hopes to be really good friends with Jared Leto. We got that on good information. So believe it. It's 100% not made up fun fact for you.
We would never make up fun facts.
Never. Next up here, we just got the top 150 big board. As we said throughout the show, it's geared towards the Bears. I can actually show you this. When I say it's geared towards the Bears, this is what I mean. Positional importance. Most important positions here are interior D-line, edge rusher, offensive tackle, least important, quarterback, kicker and punter, who I didn't scout, but running back, linebacker, stuff that they've already filled. So for every team, that's going to be different, but I didn't have time to throw in a ticker here where you could switch team to team, and I could try to estimate each team's positional needs. I wanted to, but I ran out of time, unfortunately. And next up here, we have the consensus big board. This is made up of The Athletic, Mel Kiper, Dane Brugler, Zerline, Scouts Inc., DJ, DraftWire, PFF, the Draft Network, and Jacob Infante. This is just all their big boards averaged, the median, the best, the worst, and the standard deviation for each one of these players. 200 some players deep. See, 300 players deep. And then we got our trade charts. Say that you're watching the draft and see a trade go down. See that the Dallas Cowboys trade pick number 26 away for Jaden. Where are you trying to trade to?
I will trade to 8th overall and take CJ Stroud.
Okay, so you're trading with Atlanta for number 8. Let's see. So let's see what you have to give up for that. So if you stay straight up 26 for 8, Cowboys are going to destroy them in this trade. Clearly. But
let's give up next year's first.
I can't actually do that, but
okay.
I should do that for next year, though. That's a good idea.
Okay. Well, yeah. I would say this year's first, next year's first. We'll throw in Sam Williams.
Just throw in 2. Let's assume the Cowboys are picking in the same spot next year. That should be the same value here. So you're giving up your second this year, first this year, first next year. Atlanta's winning this trade, according to these, by quite a bit. And this is the Jimmy Johnson chart, the Rich Hill chart, the Spielberger Fitzgerald chart, and the Harvard chart, which was a new one. I didn't know that existed until I made this.
So what happens? Let's say, let's do a more realistic trade. Let's say we trade to where are, I think it was 15. Who's picking 15?
15, that is Green Bay.
Yeah, let's say Green Bay. And we go get Jackson Smith-Njigba, and we give up our first this year and 2 seconds. So first this year, second this year, and second next year.
Then Green Bay is winning the trade by still quite a bit.
See?
The cost to move up,
I guess
you just gave up 1 second, then Dallas is winning according to the Jimmy Johnson chart.
But in that scenario, Green Bay would probably give up a fourth. They always even out.
Let's see how that comes out. So Green Bay gives up 116. Still see it saying Green Bay wins by 17%, 16% at least.
Yeah.
But a second is just a bit, 2 seconds is just a big price to move that late in the first, I feel like, unless it's for a quarterback.
It would probably look a lot. It would be Green Bay giving 15 and a third, and Cowboys giving 26, a first, or 26, a second, and like a sixth or something like that. Like,
Yeah. Let's see.
but
Say 212.
but on the Jimmy Johnson chart, I know for sure it's like if you're giving up next year's picks, that brings the value down quite a bit because you don't know where you're picking. So like the value of future
or it can
picks
raise it up. If you're the Cowboys at 26.
No, hypothetically, but as far as the value goes on those trade charts, future picks
doing like 90%.
Yeah, because future picks are always worth less than this year's picks.
Yeah. But so you can grade any trades within this thing. And then you can look at the top 10 draft analysts out of like 15 that I did this on, I think. Look at who does the best, who you should trust the most at each position. Like say that you want to see how good Dane Brugler is. Pick Dane Brugler out there. I'll highlight him in all these. You'll see he's not the best with quarterbacks, but no one is. Those are all honestly kind of a crapshoot. But second best at running back, fifth best at tight end. He is the best at cornerback, which is impressive because cornerback is hard to judge. So you can get all that. Someone does. Well, he is like by far the best. And then the rest of these tabs are just position. It's just player cards for every player at the position. And that is the draft guide. It's fun.
I love it. I can't wait for this draft. I think we knocked it out of the park. So
yeah, I can't either, man. I am excited for it. Whoa, I'm like halfway on the screen. So go check it out. QR code right there. And if you're feeling frisky, we accept donations.
We do. Shaving-points.com.
.com.
Support the homies.
I'm gonna end this thing. So thank you all. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. And
don't sleep on the lines.
Don't do it.